Summer lingers in the air, in the sound, open skies, worn boots. One more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send-off.
The Gulls take game one.
And he's looking for the strikeout to put an exclamation point on this series, and he does.
And for the first time in franchise history, the Sylvan Lake Gulls head to the WCBL championship. There will be a new WCBL champion this season.
That's got a chance.
Or a home
Where
run.
is it going?
Good
Is it
night.
enough? Yes, it does. Marcus Abelhosen with the walk-off homer.
The Sylvan Lake Gulls have got the dog off their back. They are headed to the WCBL championship final with an 8-4 win.
A much better looking night here on this beautiful, what is it, Tuesday night here in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. Great to have you tuning in from wherever you're watching. You're watching Gulls baseball right here on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake, as this is the makeup game from that June 20th rainout game that we had back a while ago now against the Lethbridge Bulls and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. I'm Cale Clark. Great to have you tuning in, no matter where you may be watching from, as we get you set for another terrific showdown of some Western Canadian Baseball League action, and it's going to be a heavyweight tilt at that, as the Lethbridge Bulls, the first place team in the West Division, will take on the third place team in the West, the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And the Gulls only one game back from the Lethbridge Bulls and are 20-9 on the season. It is going to be a lot of heavy hitting, I would expect, in this ball game, but maybe not. I mean, there could be some really good pitching duos that we're going to see out of these two top teams in the league. But definitely these games are starting to matter a little bit more. Why? Because we're already over the halfway mark now of this 2026 WCBL season. And let's take a look at those standings, because it's kind of getting close, and you're going to have to keep an eye on this a little bit more. And you see the Lethbridge Bulls 19-6. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Obviously, Okotoks Dogs not far from behind them. They're 22-9 with some more games played. But then you look at the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and they've really been just slowly but surely keeping up with those other top two teams in the West Division. So it's going to come down to games like this, the head-to-heads against the Lethbridge Bulls and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Let's take a look at who's going to start on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and that is going to be number 29, Mason Little, who has 9 innings of work. He's still looking for his first start, so this will be it. He's 2-0. He's got a 5 ERA, 16 hits he's given up with 9 strikeouts. So not too bad for numbers. Obviously, there's some room for improvement on that as well. But this is who he's going to have to face, as the Lethbridge Bulls have just such a strong batting order. Of course, no Carter Clare out, so of course you got Easton Katura leading things off, Jordan Monroe, Caleb Haney at second base. Cardell Dick will play catcher tonight. And then you got Luke Wheatley rounding out the batting order. So definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here. But the defense for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, it's been solid. Like, you have solid feeling from the Sylvan Lake Gulls behind this pitcher. John Boyd Rittenhouse out in left field. Elijah Hamill, Michael Quick. Incredible. And then you bring it to the infield. Joy Marino at third. He's got an arm. Tyler Graves, not many balls get past him. Gavin Roy also very good with Graves and Coleman Perry over at first. And then, of course, Reese Sherman is behind the plate, catching balls and strikes, as the Sylvan Lake Gulls are going to look to basically put a full round of great performances together here against the top Lethbridge Bulls team. And we saw Sunday their winning streak came to an end, of course. The winning streak at 7 games did get snapped due to the Energy City Cactus Rats winning that second half of the doubleheader on Sunday afternoon with a 7-3 final, but they ran into some hot pitching. And so for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, it's going to come down to, you know, you're going to have to get good pitching yourselves. And I think they've started to find that in recent games with this pitching staff and getting good starts. And that's been the key to their success in that 7-game winning streak, is getting good pitching. So if they can get a good start here from Mason Little, that is going to be so huge and so key to have a chance to, you know, knock off the top team in the West Division. And Mason Little gets himself back 1-1 on Katura. And we take a look at Katura coming into today's game, and he's hitting 190. He's just got 21 at-bats so far. He's got 5 RBIs and 4 hits. And we take a look at, you know, the Lethbridge Bulls, of course, losing Carter Clarehout to going to play pro out east. And, you know, it looked like the team didn't really seem to rely all that heavily on him. Yeah, he was a huge, impactful player for this club, but they've been seeming to pick up just fine without him. And great coaching, of course, in due part to that as well, with head coach Ryan McDonald, Josh Bergman, of course, former player, and now coach Carlin Dick as well in that Bulls dugout. So there's a walk to lead things off for the Lethbridge Bulls, and it's those little things that Sylvan Lake's got to have to really be good at eliminating. Is not giving up too many walks in this game, and not allowing the Bulls to get on base. So that'll bring up Jordan Monroe. And he takes a cut at that, missing 0-1. One and one the count to Jordan Monroe now. And a little bit of a lighter crowd on this makeup game Tuesday night. And sometimes that happens, especially when you got the makeup game from a rain out from, you know, almost, well, not quite almost a month ago, but a few weeks ago anyways. And some of those ticket holders that bought tickets for that game now can't make this game necessarily. And I did see some people on social media trying to, you know, sell their tickets and obviously get them used, but sometimes that doesn't always work out in their favor. So there's a little bit of some empty seats out there tonight. And Jordan Clark again, or sorry, Mason Little, my apologies, is down in the count here, 3-1, and trying to avoid walking another batter to start this ball game, as Jordan Monroe is at the plate. And Monroe will foul that off, so it's a full count now for the second time this inning on the second batter. Now, unique story, Lethbridge Bulls have had quite a few rainouts and delays and postponements as well themselves that they haven't played on the road, and this is ignoring Sunday because they didn't even get the full game in. They got to the 4th inning in Okotoks, but before Sunday, and the runner's on the move here, the Sherman with the throw, and he's in time as Easton Katura successfully steals the base. But it is a strikeout nonetheless, as Monroe went around on that play, but Sherman almost made that 2 quick outs for the Gulls with a great throw. So that'll bring up Caleb Haney, the second baseman. But as I was mentioning, the Lethbridge Bulls have not played a home game, or sorry, a game on the road since June 18th. Every single game has been at home for them. And that's ignoring Sunday's rain delay. They did get to Okotoks. They did play up to 4 innings, but then they were trailing 5-2 in that ball game. So that game is going to have to continue later on in the month. But before that, and minus that, of course, yeah, they don't have really a lot of road game experience in the last couple of weeks. So that could be maybe going into the Sylvan Lake Gulls' favor a little bit, getting the Bulls away from home. And the Gulls are 2-1 so far over the Bulls this season head-to-head. And that getting away from Sherman, he's going to try to run onto it, but won't get there in time. Easton Couture will now advance to third. So little plays like that, huge in games like this against good teams. As the runner now just 90 feet from scoring, 1 away. Mason Little on the mound from Memphis, Tennessee. Goes to the University of Tennessee at Martin. And he strikes out Caleb Haney. A great pitch there, and off speed. That had some movement on it. Has Haney swinging all the way around. Great pitch there as that kind of broke away from Haney. So back-to-back Ks by Mason Little. And that'll bring up Cardell Dick, the catcher for the Bulls. Dick hitting .308 coming into today's game. He's got 15 RBIs with 1 homer in 28 hits. 91 at-bat appearances. And Mason Little has found a groove here. Walking Easton Couture, now back-to-back strikeouts, looking to strike out the side to retire this inning. Trying to get him on the inside, 1-2. Saturday night, I mentioned Bulls lost to the Okotoks Dogs. That was an end of the 9-game winning streak as Cardell Dick fouls this off and it hits himself right in the left leg, maybe foot area, and he is walking it off, as they say. Literally walking it off, trying to get rid of that pain. Let's take a look where this hit him. Right off the toe. Ouch. Fouls it off, and he takes it off the inside of his left foot. Trying to put some weight on it right now as he's getting some words from the home plate umpire, Brad Johnston, who is your crew chief tonight. Just trying to shake it off. That would be a stinger. Can't be feeling too good right now. 1-2 pitch to Dick up high. Evening the count at 2-2. Still shaking off that foot after taking a foul ball right off the foot. Tipped right off the bat. And Dick hits this softly to Tylen Graves, who will scoop it up, throw it to Perry in time for the third out. So just the one base runner who gets all the way over to third, but of course you get Mason Little starting to find his groove, and he comes back with back-to-back strikeouts to help retire this inning.
Summer lingers In the air, in the sound, open skies, worn boots. One more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send-off.
Well, the Sylvan Lake Gulls are going to have their hands full with this guy, leading his team in ERA. That's right, 0 ERA for Graham Thiessen. He's a 1-0 record, and he's got 12 innings of work. This is going to be his first start, however. He's only given up 4 hits, walked 3 batters, and he's got 18 Ks in his name already. So the Sylvan Lake Gulls batters are going to have their work cut out for them. They ran a hot pitcher on Sunday afternoon. They're going to have to run into another one here today. Gavin Roy, Michael Quick, and Joey Marino will lead things off for the Sylvan Lake Gulls and try to crack this guy early. Elijah Hamill, of course, John Boy Rittenhouse, who I mentioned a little earlier, was the WCBL week honorable mention, player of the game, honorable mention. And then, of course, Tylen Graves, the shortstop, who has a good bat in him as well, will round out the batting order. So good things there. You take a look at the defense, and you got out in left field, of course, it's Lee Matsuzaki, Jordan Monroe at center, Josh Milton in right, and then Will Turner at third, Jack Wheatley at short, Caleb Haney at second, and Easton Katura over at first with Cardell Deck behind the plate for Graham Thiessen. So Gavin Roy will lead things off here, and Roy still just looking to get the bat going. And just like what we saw from, center fielder Dom Giusti, once he got that bat going, when he got back-to-back base hits, the confidence just rides in you. And you would think that would be the exact same case for Gavin Roy, a guy that's used to hitting over 300 down in the States at college and 300 in Gulls baseball 2024 2 summers ago. But he lifts this right into the right fielder. First pitch swinging for out number 1. Or second pitch swinging, I should say, sorry. So quick and efficient so far for out number 1 for Graham Thiessen. This will bring up Michael Quick, the right fielder. Quick hitting 197, also maybe a little off to a slow start with the bat this year, which isn't very, we're not used to saying that, let's just say, for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. A lot of the bats have been going. Just only a couple guys that are maybe still slow to get things going, and he's one of them. He's had 61 at-bats. He's got 7 RBIs and 2 homers, though. So when he does get some wood on the ball, it's doing some damage. And he's been that guy that comes in clutch situations. When you need a hit, that's kind of when Michael Quick steps up to the plate and literally steps up in a big way. 2-1 to Quick. From Oshawa, Ontario, goes to Bradley University. He fouls this back to even the count, 2-2. On deck, as I mentioned, Joey Marino. And then the meat of the order really comes at you hard and quick with Elijah Hamill, John Boy Rittenhouse, Coleman Perry. And a full count to Quick. Michael Quick's on-base percentage is .388. He's got 12 walks in his name already. And he checks his swing there, and he's going to get the walk. Great at-bat for Michael Quick. So we got a base runner on now for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And that'll bring up Joey Marino. His first plate appearance since Sunday's fiasco with getting tossed from the game on Sunday in game 1 of that doubleheader. So I'm sure he's going to probably had some words from Matt Hape and probably going to be a little bit more quiet at the plate after maybe not agreeing with the call. He learned the hard way on Sunday. But good to have him back in the lineup for the Gulls, playing third tonight. From Surrey, BC, Goes to Cloud County Community College. And he pops this straight up, fly ball. That's going to stay shallow right center field. In fact, it's going to stay in the infield, right on the edge of it. Was the second baseman, Caleb Haney, making the play. So that'll bring up Elijah Hamill. And Hamill has been good as of late. Among the top leaders in batting average, .358. He's got 10 RBIs, 4 homers in 53 at-bats. He is starting to really pop off right now for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and he's got some homers in the last 2 weeks. All those 4 homers have been within the last couple of weeks here, so he's been feeling it. He's got a pretty good slug going on. And he's quickly down the count, 0-2. Watch both pitches go by. Hamill lifts this into opposite field territory, going all the way back, but making the catch as it might have got caught up in the wind was Lee Matsuzaki. So Sylvan Lake Gulls with just the 1 runner on, but no hits, no runs, still scoreless. Heading to the second inning, we'll be back with more Gulls baseball right here on FloCollege.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is, and it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
Scoreless game back here at Gulls Field. You're watching Gulls baseball on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Cale Clark here with you in the Gulls nest as we get you set for inning number 2. The Lethbridge Bulls still looking for their first base hit of the ball game as well, and it'll be Lee Matsuzaki leading things off with Josh Milton and Will Turner, the scheduled batters to come to the plate for the Bulls here in the top half of this inning. Mason Little still on the mound. Kid from Tennessee starting to heat things up with a little Tennessee heat. And let's take a look at our umpires for tonight. As over at first, you got Don Buskus. Over at third, Peter Wall. And at home plate, Brad Johnson, who's the crew chief. And this is grounded right to Gavin Roy, who fields it and will throw it in time for out number 1. My broadcast partner, who's on holidays this week, isn't here with me, would say, "You're my Peter Wall." And that is a nice routine play there for Gavin Roy. I'll bring up Josh Milton, the right fielder. And Milton's got a heavy bat on him. He's got 11 strikeouts on the year, and he gets beamed with the ball there. So unfortunate way to get a base, but he'll take it. Of course, that one not even close. So So another base runner on for the Bulls. That'll bring up Will Turner, third baseman. And Turner with just the 1 RBI so far, 2 hits in his 13 at-bats. Good pitch there on the outside by Little. Has him swinging around on it. This ball popped up. Right field, foul territory. Going a long way for it is making the catch, Michael Quick. He had to go for quite a sprint on that one, but he got there in time. Great catch in the foul territory. Making it now 2-away. So they'll bring up Carson Haney, who's the DH. Haney doing well this year. 385 is his numbers. He's got 10 RBIs. And his first pitch swinging, that's a guy that's swinging with a lot of confidence right now, not wasting any time at all. He's got 20 hits in 52 at-bats. Carson Haney, the DH, brother of Calum Haney. Swings around on that one, 0-2. His brother Calum struck out back in the first. Runner over at first, that's Josh Milton. And he's going. But it doesn't gonna matter because it's another strikeout for Mason Little. A great inning of work yet again defensively for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and Mason Little gets a much-needed strikeout there. Gulls coming to bat.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Game number 30 and a 56-game schedule for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Welcome the Lethbridge Bulls here on this Tuesday night to make up the rainout game on June 20th. Still scoreless between the Bulls and the Gulls. Bottom of 2, John Boy Rittenhouse, who I mentioned a little bit ago, the Honorable Village Brewery Mention Player of the Week. And what a week he had, as he hits this softly on the ground right to Jack Wheatley, who fields it and will make the throw. And he just, a little bit of a interesting play at first, as Easton Katura just got his foot on the bag, but it's going to be out number 1. And you take a look at this, a pretty good field by Wheatley. I mean, he might have had to really kind of settle it down in his hands a bit before he threw it, but throw a little high on Easton Katura, but he makes the grab no matter what. 1 away. And I think Matt Hape's getting an explanation because he thinks Katura's foot came off the bag there on the catch. And he's going to talk to Brad Johnston, wanting a little bit of explanation, maybe getting the umpires to revisit that play, but I don't think he's going to get it. And it's going to be one of those games, you know, fans, that it's going to come down to inches when it's two good teams like this. And you see that he didn't have his foot on the bag there. It didn't look like it anyways. Maybe like from that angle, it's tough to say. Maybe that right cleat was just hanging on, but it was close. A little closer than what Jack Wheatley would want, that's for sure, the former Sylvan Lake Gull. Coleman Perry at the plate. Perry hitting .345 this year. He's got 17 RBIs, 3 home runs, 29 hits, and 84 at-bats. He's been good. In fact, he's been excellent. Defensively, offensively, the kid can do it all. And as we get close to the All-Star weekend in just a week and a half's time, you got to wonder some of these guys that might be going to represent Sylvan Lake. I would think Perry would have a good case. Elijah Hamill's got a good case. John Boy Rittenhouse definitely has got a good case. Maddox Shaver had a hot start. There's a lot of guys in this roster. I could see them having a tough time making a decision on to see who would be the All-Star to represent Sylvan Lake. Of course, Maddox Shaver still leading this team with home runs at 6. So maybe they put him in as the home run derby guy. 1-2 to Perry. And he takes a low swing at that one to miss, and it's going to be a strikeout. And the first strikeout for Graham Thiessen. Surprised it took us that long to see Graham Thiessen get a strikeout in his name tonight. Coming into tonight's game with 18 already on the season. But a lazy swing by Perry goes around. That'll bring up Gavin Glenn to the DH tonight. This kid's got experience playing this Bulls team. Tips that back. 0-2 quickly. That's up high. Good take there by Galenza. Steps away, resets. Still looking for our very first hit of the ball game. And that's a nice off-speed pitch by Thiessen. Comes down, and it almost fooled Galenza. He had to kind of hold back and wait for that a little bit. A little bit of a delayed swing, but he got a piece of it. And that just missed. 2-2. And Galenza goes around swinging on it. A strikeout, second straight strikeout for Thiessen, and we're going to have to wait to see our first hit for a little bit yet. A great pitch there by Thiessen, comes in with a fastball and beats Galenza. Bulls will come to bat in the top of the third.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Yo, Dustin, you going?
Yes.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
Fans enjoying the postponed rainout game from June 20th here on this beautiful Tuesday night on the Berm. Much better than what we saw back on June 20th, that is for sure. But if you want to be a fan, why not come out on Sunday and support a good cause? Bring your non-perishable food items, and you can take part in the Western Canadian Baseball League Food Drive, which is on Sunday, July 12th, brought to you by BrokerLink Insurance, and that is a double-header game for the Sylvan Lake Gulls as they will take on the Energy City Cactus Rats yet again. So I believe they're still doing the same promotion. One ticket gets you for both games. And bring a food item, and I guarantee you they'll probably let you stay even more so. So definitely make sure you check it out. Get your tickets online at sylvanlakegulls.com. Keep up to date on all Gulls social media channels for any key updates in that. As this is grounded right to Marino, and he has a tough time picking it up, and he ends up kicking the ball to not make that play. So it'll be an error credited to Joey Marino. As Jack Wheatley gets on base. It looked like a pretty routine play there, as just hopped away at the most unfortunate timing for Joey Marino. And we'll be interested to see how that error comes back to haunt Sylvan Lake. If that, because most times than not, errors seem to make you pay. And hopefully that's not the case, obviously, for Marino and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. But good teams like the Lethbridge Bulls, you get a free pass like that, and they will make you pay for it more times than not. So runner on to start this inning. Easton Katura back to the top of the batting order we go. He got on base to a walk. And Little, kind of like he started Katura back in the first, is deja vu here with a 2-1 count. Now 3-1. Ball fouled back. 3-2. Good pitch by Mason Little. 88 miles per hour fastball. Haven't seen Mason Little start a game yet. This is his first start of the summer. Now he'll throw over to Coleman Perry to keep Wheatley in check. And 11 pitchers out of the bullpen have started this summer for Sylvan Lake so far. This is pitcher number 12 now. Full count to Katura. And it's a walk. And Little not happy with himself. Sure he didn't want to place that ball that high. So now 2 runners on. Runner in scoring position for Lethbridge. And that'll bring up Jordan Monroe, who struck out back in the third. Monroe thought about a bunt and showed bunt, so we will see if the Bulls try to maybe play a little small ball here to help try to cash in the first run of the game. Sherman's just going to walk out and maybe kind of calm Mason Little down a little bit, I think, because Little obviously is a little heated, a little bit not on right now. Words of encouragement from his catcher. I like that meeting. That's a great meeting. Settle things down a little bit. Give your pitcher a breather. Get him dialed back in. Already 3 strikeouts on the day for Mason Little. You know he's got it in him. And he gets the zone there. Even on the bunt, 1-1. So infield obviously going to be playing shallow here. Seen this bunt now a couple times by Jordan Monroe. Trying to advance runners even more so. That one outside, 2-1. Good pitch. Little evens the count. 2-2 outside corner. Monroe hits this ball right center field. That is going to land, and it's going to drive in 2 runs. A 2 RBI double for the Lethbridge Bulls, and like I was mentioning earlier, an error at the beginning of this inning that does end up coming to cost the Gulls. Great swing in the bat there by Jordan Monroe. He was showing bunt a couple times, but then the last couple pitches he decided to hold back, and that one he fires into the gap. Right center field. That will be a now 2-0 Bulls lead here, and that is going to prompt a meeting on the mound by Matt Haight. Trying to get everybody on the same page here. See, kind of explain what he sees out there. Matt Hape obviously being a head coach this year, but still using his pitching coach ways, of course, and running the bullpen as best as he can to run the entire team as well now. So Jordan Monroe over at second, 0 down, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Bulls. Caleb Haney, who struck out back in the first inning. Little starts him off with a strike. Monroe will advance the third on that pass ball, and Sherman. So runner 90 feet away with 0 down from adding to the lead now for the Bulls. Lethbridge back here tomorrow night for a scheduled 7:05 pitch before the Gulls then hit the road for 3 straight up in Fort McMurray. Meanwhile, for the Lethbridge Bulls, once they're done here in Sylvan Lake, they'll head north to Energy City Metro Ballpark, take on the Cactus Rats on Thursday before going home for Friday, Saturday games against the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Swing and a miss there on Caleb Haney for his second straight strikeout of the night. So that was a huge out for the Gulls, and Sherman with the catch. That'll bring up Cardell Dick, one of 5 brother siblings on this Bulls team. His brother Carlin, the third base coach down the line right now, who played with the Bulls for a few seasons. He's played in this ballpark, played against the Sylvan Lake Gulls. In the first few years, the Gulls were a franchise. A really good batter. I remember he had a great bat on him. He could drill a ball in no time. He's always a guy that found a way to get on base. He rarely did Carlin Dick strike out. He'd either work you to a full count, take a walk, or absolutely bomb one somewhere in the hole. Had a great chat with him before the game as well. Got to catch up with him and said he's going to school to be a teacher. and that he wants to stay in Alberta. He's from Abbotsford, BC, but he wants to stay in Alberta and be a teacher kind of in the Lethbridge area, and he said he's going to be helping out Coach Foxhall this year. So good things coming for Carlin Dick, and that pitch just missing inside, not missing his brother Cardell Dick by much. 2-2 the count. Yeah, Carlin Dick said he's only got one semester left, and then he's done his schooling to become a teacher. Asked him what age range does he want to teach. Well, he said high school, phys ed. I'm like, oh, that's a great class to teach. That'd be a lot of fun. So he's pretty excited, and good for him. Good on him to, go from playing the game to now coaching the game and teaching the ways of getting involved. This Lethbridge Bulls team has looked dangerous all season long, thanks to guys like him. And Cardell Dick goes down swinging for out number 2 and the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Mason Little. Another great pitch. It's kind of becoming a pitcher's duel out here. Of course, Little ran into a little bit of issues there early on with the walk. Had that error that reached base as well, and then the 2 RBI double by Jordan Monroe, now sitting over at third. But Little has done a great job recovering well, composing himself, and he's now had 2 straight strikeouts. Looking to get out of this inning. Lee Matsuzaki grounded out to Gavin Roy back in the 2nd inning. Takes a big cut at that one. 1-2. And just like that, he rings him up on the inside. 3 straight strikeouts yet again by Mason Little. Unfortunately for him, though, there was a couple that came across the score. The Bulls now with a 2-0 lead over the Gulls. But how about these strikeouts? 3 straight. There's 1. There's 2. And here's 3.
This July, the Okotoks Dogs and Baseball Canada will host the Road to Okotoks and the Morneau Cup National Championship at the Seaman Stadium Complex from July 14th to 19th. Come watch the top 16 youth baseball teams from across the country. These are the future stars of Canadian baseball, tomorrow's collegiate standouts and professional players, all chasing a national championship. Don't miss a week of elite competition, unforgettable moments, and the future of Canadian baseball in Okotoks.
Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archived game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus the WCBL report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today.
Reese Sherman will step up to the plate for his first at-bat of the night. The number 8 hitter looking to respond after the Lethbridge Bulls are now up by a pair. 2-0 they lead it in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And again, like I mentioned, it's going to come down to probably a little bit of a pitcher's duel, and Graham Thiessen has looked solid so far here tonight. There's a reason why he's got a 0 ERA in about 12 innings of work. Now making that actually 14 innings and a little bit. Incredible numbers this kid has been throwing up for the Lethbridge Bulls. Now 20 strikeouts on the season. Sherman now takes that one for a ball. 1-2. So Sylvan Lake's still looking for their first hit of the ball game. Sherman takes that up high for a ball 2. 2-2. Sherman hitting .344, 12 RBIs, 2 home runs. I mean, you look at the home run tallies on this Gulls offense, there are a lot of guys in this lineup that have that. Like, a lot. 16. Okay, 16 different batters have a home run for the Sylvan Lake Gulls this year already. Like, that's pretty good. So there's a lot of guys that can hit the long bomb. And Sherman, of course, you know, we've seen it from everybody up and down the lineup. Only guys that we haven't is the guy that joined late, Gavin Roy. He's only had 7 games under his belt ahead of today's game, and Gavin Glenn's with only 11. And a strikeout for 3 straight strikeouts in a row by Graham Thiessen. Don't want to let this guy get hot. So he rings up Sherman. Sherman knew it all the way. So that'll bring up Tylen Graves, the number 9 batter. You know, Graves is doing, and obviously was nursing a little bit of an injury, but he looks like he's okay now. Looks like his arm's back to normal. A little bit of a day off yesterday. Now the Gulls have been working a kids camp too yesterday and today. Today was day 2. And I think it's such a great thing for the community to be able to, you know, have that option for kids that want to become baseball players. They look up to these guys. And there were a lot of kids today. You check out the Sylvan Lake Gulls social media stories and their posts, you can see how many kids are on the field. And these players have to play a game that night, and they're still out there from 8:30 in the morning till who knows when, but probably 2 or 3. And they're helping out these kids. They're giving them some really great basic baseball lessons and teaching them the ways, and it's awesome. It's great stuff. 1-2 to Graves as he watches that go into the turf in front of him. To evening the count, 2-2. 1 away. Gavin Roy on deck. But yeah, it's so great to see, you know, families being able to bring their kids to the ballpark in the middle of a day, and gorgeous weather they're getting too, which has been not common as of late here in Central Alberta. So they picked a good week for it. Sherman goes down swinging, and that is 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Graham Thiessen. After not getting, I said he hasn't got a strikeout yet. He goes 4 straight. So he's feeling it. Gavin Roy looking to change things here. And there's another strike. Thiessen does not waste much time on the mound either. He gets his call and he delivers. Runs are going to come hard today, I think, for both sides. Of course, the Bulls already with the 1 run, or 2 runs, I should say, as this play is made by Will Turner over to Katura, and it is a 3 down inning for the Lethbridge Bulls with a 2-0 lead heading into the top of the fourth.
Get ready for the sweetest baseball event in Canada. All the very best players from around the WCBL will be in the very best city for the 2026 All-Star Weekend. Don't be sour. Get your tickets to the summer's biggest baseball event now. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play.
Well, after getting a little bit of trouble back in the third inning, Mason Little just said, I'll take care of business from here on out and get us out of this jam, as he went back-to-back-to-back strikeouts on the number 3, 4, 5 hitters to end that third inning. He's now going to have to take on Josh Milton, who was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat, to lead things off here in the fourth inning. 60 pitches so far for Little. Just the one error, and that was to the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And that's another thing that I've noticed with them this year they've been pretty good at, is eliminating the amount of errors per game, keeping those to a minimal. And another hit by pitch to Josh Milton. Milton, the second time to be hit by a ball, will reach base. And he's the only batter to be hit by a ball. And that one stung a little bit more as he shakes it off. So another hit batsman gets a runner on. Bulls have been able to get on base every single inning this game so far. So it hasn't been the cleanest necessarily for Sylvan Lake Gulls defense. But when Little's got himself into some jams, he's done a good job to get out of them. Ball swung on, hit pretty well to deep right field, going all the way back, and it's gone. Will Turner absolutely cranks this one over the right field wall to give and double up the Bulls' lead to 4-0. The Bulls came to play. And that's Turner's first homer of the year, too. So that quieted things down a little bit here at Gulls Field. Back-to-back innings with a couple runs on the board, 0 down. Carson Haney now the DH. 1-1. The Haney brothers from Lethbridge, Alberta. There's a few Lethbridge locals on this team, including Shay McTavish, a pitcher. A couple guys from Calgary, the Wheatley brothers. And this ball hit right to Tyler Graves. That does not even have to move to make that grab for out number 1. Good catch there. Now bring up Jack Wheely. Former Sylvan Lake Gull from a few years ago. Playing against his former team yet again. He's been with the Bulls now for a couple seasons. And we finally got some action in the bullpen. 39, Trent Chavez is getting loose right now for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. So Mason Little's night might be coming to a close here pretty soon, but I'm sure he would like at least a couple more Ks before that happens. 6 strikeouts, all swinging. That one just to the outside, 2-2. And a swing and a miss for strikeout number 7 on the night for Mason Little. 2 down. Let's take a look at this pitch. Up high, and it just rode up high all the way. So that'll bring up Easton Katura, the first baseman. And he pops this up into foul territory. It's staying in play. The wind's got it, and a great grab in foul territory by Joey Marino will bring this inning to a close, but not before the big long shot from Will Turner drives in 2 more runs for the Lethbridge Bulls, now doubling their lead to 4-0 over the Sylvan Lake Gulls as we head into the bottom of the 4th. Nothing Bulls lead it. You're watching Gulls baseball on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Well, it's not very common that you see a lot of baseball taking place on a Tuesday night. There's 8 games going on around the WCBL, and let's get you caught up on it. Earlier on today, the Moose Jaw Miller Express took on the Regina Red Sox and defeated them, doubling their score 12-6. Fort McMurray lost to Energy City earlier today, 3-2. And then, of course, a couple double headers in this. And you're going to get to that a lot this time of year because you got to make up a lot of lost time. So Energy City and Fort Mac are scoreless in Game 2 of that doubleheader, top of 4. Same as Regina and Moose Jaw, also scoreless, but bottom of the 1st. Brooks is up 4-3 over the Swift Current 57s in the top of the 4th. And then the Okotoks Dogs are up 3-1 over the Saskatoon Berries. So, yeah, lots going on. There's Weyburn Beavers tied with Met Hat 3-3. Yeah, there's lots of baseball being played on this Tuesday night. Only 5 games scheduled for tomorrow night, 4 on Thursday, and then again 7 on Friday. But you're going to see that as we kind of come down the stretch here in July, makeup games being, you know, double to triple headers. I'm pretty sure there's a triple header scheduled somewhere in the league this month, so pretty sure it's Fort Mac. Yeah, my producer just said Fort Mac and Energy City, and I think I agree with him because I remember hearing something about that as well because they got a lot of rainouts with Energy City. So 3-1 to Michael Quick, who's leading things off here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And he hits this hard, but a great grab at second base. Caleb Haney robs one from Michael Quick. What a great grab out of midair that was. Holy. That was lined. Knocked the hat off and everything. So that's going to be hard to get anything past this Bulls team. They got the pitching. They also got the infield and defense behind it. Joey Marino at the plate, 0-1. Watches that one go by for a called ball. One and two to Marino. And a strikeout for out number 2. Make that 5 Ks on the night for Graham Thiessen. Thinking they're going to use this kid as long as they can go here tonight. He has been wheeling and dealing. No hits given up just yet by Thiessen. So that'll bring up Elijah Hamill. Hamill, one of those guys that can get things going in the right direction for the Gulls. If it's not Hamill, it's the next guy on deck, John Boy Rittenhouse. Should this inning continue? If Hamill can just get on base one way or the other, John Boy Rittenhouse might be able to give the Gulls some life. And Hamill hits this, and that just goes off the glove of Jack Wheatley, who tried to make a sensational grab himself in the number 6 position. I think Wheatley didn't realize that this was dropping, and he jumped when he probably didn't need to jump as high. And it went right off kind of the base tip of the edge of the glove for the very first base hit of the ball game for the Gulls and Elijah Hamill. So he gets things going. See what John Boy Rittenhouse can do if he could follow it up. Rittenhouse pops this up. Fly ball, shallow center field, and it will be caught by Jordan Monroe. So, just the one base hit, but nothing to show for it as the pitching and defense continue to dominate in this ball game for the Lethbridge Bulls. They have a 4-0 lead heading into the top of the 5th when we come back. Trent Chavez coming in relief for Mason Little here tonight. He'll be the second pitcher on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. But Mason Little overall still had a pretty good night. I mean, he had 7 Ks in his name. He was doing a pretty good job. All strikeouts swinging too. So, you know, some good things. Yeah, he had a couple batsmen, maybe walked a couple batters, but overall, I feel like he had still a pretty good outing for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. A decent start, just giving up the 2 hits. But there were 4 runs that did come across and score, as one of those hits was a home 2-run shot homer for the Lethbridge Bulls. So, see what Chavez can do here on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, as he will face top of batting order, the second hitter, Jordan Monroe. And it's just like that, out number 1. As this ball was hit weakly to Chavez, who makes a nice flip. Nothing like getting your feet wet early in the ball game, making a play yourself. So that'll bring up Caleb Haney. He's 0 for 2 on the night. Back-to-back strikeouts. He shows bunt, but he holds back, and it's a strike. Trent Chavez had 9 innings of work before tonight, 1-0 win-loss record. He's got 11 strikeouts. He's just given up the 1 run on 6 hits. He's been a pretty solid pitcher for the Sylvan Lake Gulls so far this year. And this ball also hit right back to Chavez, who will field it himself. It's the Chavez-Perry show here in the 5th inning. Back-to-back 1-3 plays. And a good credit to Chavez's pitching. The Arizona kid getting it done early and efficiently. Just 4 pitches, 2 outs. That'll bring up Cardell Dick, 0 for 2 on the day. Chavez winds back and fires that one, 89 miles per hour, just missing. Thought he had him. Thought he had a great pitch on that ball. I thought he did too. That was close. Ball popped foul. Sylvan Lake obviously would love to see themselves use as many few arms as possible in this game. If they can have Chavez go a decent ways in this ball game, that would be huge and ideal, obviously, to get ready for tomorrow night's rematch against the Bulls. Also giving your offense a chance to get back into it, being down 4. We've seen some great comebacks already this season across the Western Canadian Baseball League. One that happened just not that long ago on the weekend. Actually, Regina Red Sox walked one off against Swift Current. Brady By with the grand slam, and this is grounded to Tylen Grays, who makes the throw over to Perry, and it is a nice 3-up, 3-down inning, exactly what the Gulls needed. The first time they didn't give up a runner on base, and they'll come to the bats at the bottom of the 5th when we come back. You're watching Gulls baseball on FloCollege. Great day to be a patio, bad day to be a cold refreshment. As St. Lorenzo Rouge Middle School staff are out celebrating the year end. I'm thinking that's maybe some of them, maybe not. I don't know, I'm just taking a wild guess here, but I do want to mention there are some groups in the house here tonight. That's one of them. Eckville Eagles U11 team is here, and then the Sylvan Lake Surge U15 team is also in attendance watching this ball game against the Lethbridge Bulls and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. But a great night to be out on the patio, taking it all in, not having to worry about the wet stuff, the cold stuff coming in. It's just been a great night for baseball here in Central Alberta. Finally, we got rewarded. Coleman Perry at the plate will lead things off here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. First pitch swinging, fouling it off. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. Games like this really kind of give you an idea on how teams match up. And Perry aligning this right at to the Caleb Haney, second baseman, who makes a routine play. The Lethbridge Bulls this year look very dangerous. Obviously, they've had some tough years. They've always been a competitive team, don't get me wrong, but in recent years, just haven't been able to go the distance, haven't been able to get past the first round of the playoffs. Sylvan Lake has had their number, and this year, the way this team is built, they look very solid. They look like a team that could be the team to beat. And, you know, this, looking at since 2021, that was the last time they won the WCBL title, was in that kind of COVID Alberta year. That was the Gulls' first year being in the league. Gavin Glenn's at the plate. So, you know, it's kind of unique to see. Obviously, Sylvan Lake is a good team. They're third in the West. But to see how they can match up against other good teams in the league, where do they stand? And yeah, we've already seen Lethbridge this year, and Gulls technically are beating them in the series 2-1. They're up 2-1 on the Bulls head-to-head this year. Bulls hold on for a win. It's even. So, you know, both teams evenly balanced, I would say. And that's kind of the fun thing about this league is on any given night, you don't know who's going to win. One night it could be the Gulls, one night it could be the Bulls. Depends on who shows up, depends on the pitching you're getting. And Lethbridge obviously throwing one of their ace pitchers on the mound right now with Graham Thiessen, who's threw 4 complete in his 5th inning of work, only 66 pitches. And he's just finally given up the second hit of the ball game as Gavin Galenza gets around first and will get to second with a stand-up double. That was huge. Up until then, Graham Thiessen and the Lethbridge Bulls have held the Sylvan Lake Gulls' hot bats pretty quiet. And a nice little tap from former teammate Jack Wheatley on Gavin Galenza as he makes his way back to second. So that'll bring up Reese Sherman, the catcher. 0 for 1, struck out back in the 3rd inning. And the Bulls, of course, not really worried at all right now. Everybody's still in the dugout, nobody in the pen. I'm thinking they're going to try to get as many innings out of Graham Thiessen as possible. We saw Energy City in that 7-inning doubleheader second half. They sent Bezugen for a full 7 innings of work. Not one pitching change in that second game, and rightfully so. The kid was hard to hit. Created a lot of frustration with the Sylvan Lake Gulls bats and their hitters. Thiessen maybe starting to show a little bit of fatigue. I don't know. It's not very often. I don't know if we've seen him go down 3-0, maybe one other time. But for the most part, he's been working the counts. And he finds the zone there. 84-mile-per-hour fastball. Sherman hits it pretty good. Left center field, going back for it. And it's going to be caught by Lee Matsuzaki yet again for out number 2. So when the batters are getting contact on him, it's not getting far enough for it to carry. It's allowing the outfielders to get underneath of it. Gavin Gallant's to turn on his pretty good and lifted it right in the gap. There is a wind in the face, I think, for the hitters of the Sylvan Lake Gulls. It's kind of coming in from the left field. As we look to the right, then the mesh just by the Bulls dugout is kind of pushed inwards, so I would think the wind is coming from the outfield in. Maybe left field to right. Didn't seem to have a problem on the Lethbridge Bulls' Will Turner as he hit one out of the park already. Graves with a good cut on that one. 1-2 now. Gavin Glenza over at second. Nice stand-up double. Trying to get something going for the Gulls. They need to have someone follow it up now. And they won't. Graham Thiessen has been pitching very well for the Lethbridge Bulls. Only giving up the 1 hit, but no runs. Another strikeout in his name. And the Bulls still up 4-0. Trent Chavez in for his second inning of work. Will face Lee Matsuzaki to lead things off here in the 6th inning. Bulls up 4-0. You're watching Gulls baseball on FloCollege. I'm Cale Clark. Great to have you tuning along from wherever you may be watching in. Feel free to shoot me a tweet or an X, whatever you call it nowadays, I guess. It's X considered, I guess. But you can find me at Cale_Clark97 if you got any insight, maybe some stories on any players, or if I'm pronouncing somebody's name wrong, feel free to correct me on there as well. Always keep an eye on the Twitter or X, and we'd love to hear from you. Let us know where you're watching from. We love to give you a shout out, see where you're at. Always fun to find out where our fans are watching from. We've had people watching from all over, from what I've understood, and I've had a great privilege to meet some of these families that have come up to visit or watch their boys in person here at Gulls Field, and I encourage it. If you can make the trip to Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada, do it. And maybe try to do it when it's a nice week, because you won't be disappointed. It's not as fun when it's rainy and cloudy and cool, especially to some of you folks from the south. It's definitely a lot different from what you're maybe used to, but at the end of the day, it can still be beautiful weather. This is skied right to center field. Elijah Hamill will run underneath of it, making the grab for out number 1. Elijah Hamill getting busy, as that was his first grab of the night. Josh Milton, right fielder, comes in. Now, Milton has had bad luck. And we'll show you in just a moment why he's had some bad luck. Hopefully he's got better luck this at bat. And he hits this on the ground right to Gavin Roy, deep in the hole, making the throw in time for Coleman Perry. But I'm sure Milton, I mean, he's probably not happy that he got thrown out, but he has had some bad luck tonight. This is what has happened. Boom. Right in the hip. That was the first pitch he saw. Then his next at bat, boom, exact same spot. And just that last one really shows you how upsetting that was for him, because it literally was the exact same spot. I mean, he's gonna have a pretty good welt there, I'm thinking, by the end of tonight. So this time at least he goes to the dugout, you know, not sore as he has the last 2 times. Well, let's bring up the long ball hitter, Will Turner, who just absolutely put this game a little bit more out of reach for the Lethbridge Bulls. A 2-run shot over the right field wall. He got a hold of it all and barreled up on it. It was a great opposite field homer. His first of the season for Will Turner as well. Two and one. Skies this one. Popped up. Shallow center field. Everybody getting called off by Gavin Roy. Tyler Grays took a little bit of a spill, maybe because of that. And that's 3 down, 3 up, 3 down for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. They'll come to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Mr. Efficient, Mr. Great. That is Graham Thiessen, the starting pitcher for the Lethbridge Bulls, now getting his 6th inning of work. He's only got 76 pitches so far to date, and he's done a good job. Only given up 2 hits. He's got a number of strikeouts on the night, and he's kept the Sylvan Lake Gulls hitting crew to a bare minimum. I mean, not easy task by any means. If anybody has been following the Sylvan Lake Gulls lately and this year, there's a lot of great hitters in this lineup, and it's not easy to hold them quiet in the night. Gavin Roy looking to change that, leading things off here in the 6th, top of the batting order. 6 strikeouts so far on the night for Thiessen. And Roy lifts this into right center field. It's going back a ways, and it's carrying. It's going to go off the wall. Gavin Roy's turning second. Going to try to get this as a triple, and he will. A stand-up triple for Gavin Roy to lead things off in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That's what you need right there. Everything seems to be flying quite well in right field tonight, and it's an opposite field stand-up leading triple. That's got to feel good for Gavin Roy. I didn't see it, but I'm assuming in his mind he's thinking monkey off the back for being back here in Sylvan Lake. And it'll be interesting, like I said, with how Dom Giusti performed in his last game. Got a couple hits in a row. He started to then get things going with the bat. So, see if that's the case for Gavin Roy. I sure hope so. And I think it will be, because Gavin Roy is one of those guys that can hit and be consistent when he gets going. Michael Quick lifts this into foul territory, and I don't think this is going to be deep enough for Roy, as it won't be. And coming all the way over is Wheatley to make the catch. So you want to now take advantage of that leadoff triple by Gavin Roy. Obviously, quick, unfortunate pop-up there in foul territory. So that'll bring up Joey Marino 0 for 2. He had a strikeout and a pop-up, and Marino sends this flying pretty good. Deep center field, going all the way back. It's over the head of Jordan Monroe. That's going to score the Gulls' first run of the game. An RBI double for Mr. Joey Marino. Now the Gulls are getting things going. And that has started some action in the Bulls bullpen. And that is number 17 getting loose, Bryce McGuire. So Sylvan Lake, after 5 innings, maybe have started to catch on to the arm of Graham Thiessen, starting to finally crack the code, get things figured out. Elijah Hamill at the plate. Gulls looking to ride the momentum with just one away. Marino at second, and a big bat at the plate right now as Hamill watches that go by off speed, 72 miles per hour for a called strike. Now Hamill, if he turns on this, it's going to be gone in a hurry, especially with the way the ball has been flying into right field tonight. It's seeming like it gets up in the air, and that wind pushes it more and more and more. And Hamill doesn't swing lightly. Let's just say that. He puts a good barrel on the ball like that. This has a chance. I don't even think it is something to worry about. It is over the wall. A 2-run shot for Elijah Hamill. Right on cue, Hamill puts barrel on ball. And this game is back to within 1. The bats have woken up here in the 6th inning. Wow. Hamill continues to hit the ball hard and far. 5 home runs now on the year for Hamill, and that will be the end of the night for Graham Thiessen, who has had, you know what, a great start for the Lethbridge Bulls. Unfortunately, comes to an end on a rocky note, but Graham Thiessen has been terrific. Unfortunately, his night comes to a close. We'll throw in a new pitch. We'll be back with more Gulls baseball to finish off the bottom of the 6th when we come back. Well, the batting doesn't get any easier for this new pitcher as a new pitcher coming in. Bryce McGuire in relief for Graham Thiessen, and I want to stress that Graham Thiessen did have a good game. John Boy Rittenhouse, this is going back all the way to the wall, and it is off the glove. Rittenhouse trying to stretch it to third. Is he going to get there in time? No, he's not. What a great throw by the Bulls. The momentum has been just going the Gulls' favor as John Boy hit that far, tried to stretch it a little too much, and he gets thrown out at third. But my goodness, let's take a look at this replay here as the play comes in. Oh, just by a fraction. And so now that's a huge out for the Bulls, 2 down. But I thought that had a chance to go over the fence as well. An opposite field hit for John Boy. But the Bats have woken up here in the 6th inning. Just 1 run away from tying this ball game. John Boy trying to stretch it to third. Gets thrown out. Got to take chances this point of the game, I suppose. Kind of getting near the late stages. But with Coleman Perry coming to the plate, you almost gotta just be a little cautious. Take the bases you get. Try not to overstretch things. Back in this ball game. So we know Coleman Perry's got some power in that swing. You go back to the top of the 6th, leading things off, Gavin Roy. The stand-up triple. And this is a great catch by Caleb Haney at second on Coleman Perry. He's had a great glove tonight. Not a lot's gotten past him if it's in his general direction. But the Sylvan Lake Gulls make things interesting after 6 innings. Elijah Hamill does what he does best and sends bombs to the right field. Carson Haney leads thing off for the 7th inning. He's 0 for 2 on the night. Lethbridge Bulls now just up by 1 run. Sylvan Lake clawed their way back into this ball game, putting up a 3 spot in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Huge, huge inning for Sylvan Lake and Gavin Roy especially. I mean, to get off the schneid, getting that bat going, and he gets a stand-up triple, and then just from there, we've seen that a lot with this Gulls team, a little bit of momentum, and they take full advantage, and they ride the wave. And Chavez, since coming in, has done a great job as well to hold the Bulls at bay. 2 straight innings in that he's come in with 3 of 3 down innings. Not even allowing a runner on. So that's what you also need. Guys that can come into the ball game and shut the door, and Trent Chavez has done that so far. And a strikeout. His first one of the night for Chavez. Rings up Haney. I'll bring up Jack Wheatley. 0 for 1. Got on base with an error on the third. Easton Coutura, the batter on deck for the Bulls as we go back to the top of the batting order after this. And some really cool off speed from Chavez. Now when he releases this ball, and he almost gives it a little extra, delayed follow through on the arm to maybe throw the batter off. And I think it does. It seems to trick quite a few guys, and it's got Wheatley looking on that one. Back-to-back strikeouts for Chavez. So Easton Coutura struck out back at the 4th inning, but he's reached base twice due to a walk. First time he's going to see Chavez, though, on the mound. The only batter that is yet to see him. Chavez 2-0 on Coutura. Easton Coutura getting a lot of respect so far tonight. I mean, both pitchers getting down in the counts on them, and then he gets one right off the leg. And will reach base for the 3rd time. Let's watch Chavez's reaction after this. And ouch. Yeah, did not mean to do that, buddy. Sorry. And after he tapped his chest as well, saying, my bad. So definitely, I know these guys would not ever do that on purpose. And that'll bring up Jordan Monroe. So that's the first time a runner has reached base since Chavez have come into the game. Monroe is 1 for 3 on the night. And the runner is on the move. The throw down, and they got him. A great throw and a great tag out by the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Get out of this inning with just the one base runner on, but Reese Sherman quickly to eliminate him with this beautiful throw here. Wow, that was right on the money. Gavin Galenza will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Hope you got a good stretch in because it was the 7th inning stretch. The Gulls down by 1. 4-3, Bulls lead it. Gulls trying to play comeback here in this ball game, down 4-0 at one point. Then the bats came alive in the 6th, and Gavin Galenza hoping to keep it going in the right direction as he's already got a double in this game. 1 for 2 on the night. And he takes a good cut at that one. 1-1. And this is grounded right to Jack Wheatley with the throw in time for out number 1. And here's the play yet again on that throw. I mean, that was what happened last inning for John Boy Rittenhouse in the double. You know, he was credited double, but then he got thrown out third trying to stretch it to make it a triple. And it was a great play by, of course, the Lethbridge Bulls to get that out, that needed out. It was only 1 out at that point in the ball game, and then the 2 outs, and then Coleman Perry flew out to the second baseman. Reese Sherman, 0 for 2. Tyler Graves on deck to round out the batting order. Sylvan looking to keep it going. They're down 1. Couple innings left, not a lot of time left on their side. And as I mentioned earlier, we've seen some great comebacks in the league so far this summer. And so far, Bryce McGuire said, I'm not going to allow that to happen so easily just yet. Nice strikeout there on Sherman. And so we'll bring in a pinch hitter. Maddox Shaver coming in, and that's another bat that you might not want to see at this point in the game. 338 is what he's hitting coming into tonight. He's got 17 RBIs, leads this team in homers at 6, and 20 runs have scored in his 80 at-bats. He's admitted to me about a week ago that his bat has kind of cooled down a little bit, so he's looking to kind of get it back, get it going again. And he takes a check swing in for a strike. Oh and 1. This is high and back. Quickly down 0-2. Someone in the crowd. Some kid's going to be going home with a souvenir there. You love to see it. Two down, bottom of 7. Gulls down 1. Shaver watches that go for a ball. Takes a deep breath, steps back, and regroups. McGuire with the 1-2 delivery. That's up high, evening the count 2-2. Bryce McGuire from Los Angeles. Actually, I apologize. He's from Louisiana. And Maddox Shaver goes down swinging. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for McGuire. And it's exactly what he needed as he gets Maddox Shaver up high inside. It's a 4-3 Bulls lead in the top of the 8th. We go. Trent Chavez still looking to keep the door closed with the Gulls just down 1 right now. 4-3, the Bulls lead it. Looking to add to that lead is Jordan Monroe, who steps into the batter's box. He is 1 for 3 at that 2 RBI double, and he was last at the plate before the throw from Reese Sherman tagged out Easton Katura at second. So he gets to reset. 0-1. And he goes around 0-2. Chavez in the driver's seat right now. And that just missing. That did not miss by much. That was pretty close. I think Monroe might have even thought that had him. That hit on the ground to stay alive. Count remains the same, 1-2. And again, that just missing. Like, these are just a little bit up high. So an even count. Good pitching and some good takes here by Jordan Monroe, letting some go by him. And Chavez thought that one might have been it. It's now a full count. That off speed just missing. He's even saying to him, I think he's even saying to himself, thought I had him there. So full count here. Good takes by Monroe. And he hits this on the ground right to Roy, who will make the play to Perry. In fact, sorry, that's Maddox Shaver now, who is shifted over to second base. And Gavin Roy will play shortstop. So first taste of defensive action for Maddox Shaver. That'll bring up Caleb Haney. He's 0 for 3 on the night. 1 down. Bulls lead 4-3. Haney, looks like it sounded like it broke the bat, and that's going to be a little bit of a looper that will land harmlessly into shallow center field. That will land for a base hit, so maybe a broken bat on the play that works out in Haney's favor. As it kind of came off the bat a little weird, and I'll get a base runner on, which will prompt a meeting on the mound, and I think that might be the night for Trent Chavez, who did a really good job coming in relief for Mason Little. And he got a few innings of work in anyway and did the job, just giving up the one hit. Great job of night's work there by Trent Chavez. We'll watch the new pitcher come in. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Gulls baseball. You're watching FloCollege right here, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Seth Mahler comes in relief for, of course, Trent Chavez, who had a great 3 1/3 innings of work. He only gave up the 1 hit, 0 runs, had 2 strikeouts, and only saw 11 batters in 3 full innings and then a third. So, you know, he was on pace for a 3 up, 3 down inning every single time until that last hit that he just gave up. But otherwise, 3 up, 3 down innings, he only saw 3 batters every inning. Pretty good stuff, if you ask me, by Trent Chavez. Great job there. Great night done, and that's exactly what the Gulls needed from their relief pitcher. So, see what they can get from Seth Mahler, who comes from Lake Stevens, Washington. And he'll look to keep things going as this ball hit on the ground right to Roy. The turn to Shaver, trying to turn the double play, and they do it! The great 6-4-3 play by the Sylvan Lake Gulls comes up huge. Roy with the scoop, Shaver with the catch, and the toss. Perry stretching all the way out for that one. Well, much like the Sylvan Lake Gulls, the Bulls will turn to their third pitcher of the night in number 36, Lucas Hwin. Bottom of the 8th inning, Gavin Roy steps up to the plate. And it'll be interesting to see how Roy can come off of that stand-up triple back in the 6th. So back to the top of the batting order, Lucas Hwin will have to face. And he's got speed on him, 90 miles per hour hitting that radar gun. Should we look at his numbers? He's got already 1 win. He's come in and saved 3 games this summer, 6.1 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, and another 0 ERA from this Lethbridge Bulls pitching staff so far. So pretty good stuff there. He's only given up 3 hits this summer in those 6 innings. And he comes in with the off speed, catch in the corner, 76 mile per hour, 1 and 2. So this kid has a range of speed on that pitch. That's got to be so hard as a batter, from a 90 to a 76 mile per hour pitch differential. And Roy lifts this into shallow left center field. Get down ball, but it'll stay in the air, and Jordan Monroe will get underneath of it for put out number 1. So that'll bring up Michael Quick, 0 for 2. We talked about him earlier. In key moments, key situations, very much like John Boy Rittenhouse, Michael Quick can come up big. And he pops this foul towards the kid zone. That will land harmlessly to no man's land. Quick grounding this right to Caleb Haney, where balls go to die tonight, and that'll be out number 2. So Lethbridge looking in full control here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, with quickly 2 down. Gulls trying to tie this ball game up, just down by 1 run. If they can do it in the 8th, that would put a lot of pressure on Lethbridge in the 9th. But Lethbridge looking like they're in full control here, and that hits Joey Marino on the arm as it goes by. So Gulls will get the tying run over at first. Can they bring the 2-out rally alive? And a bat that's coming to the plate, you don't want coming to the plate in a situation like this. Elijah Hamill, who last at bat sent one well over the fence. That's what he does best. This is huge for Elijah. A 2-run shot last inning, or his last at bat, I should say, and he turns on that foul. Luckily for the Bulls, it was foul and it wasn't in the air. Thinking if you're Lucas Hwin, you're probably going to pitch it more to the outside like that, and that goes right to second base, and Jack Wheatley tags his base, and it's a 3-up or 4-up, 3-down inning for the Lethbridge Bulls, not giving up any runs on any hits, and they will come to the top of the 9th next. Top of the 9th inning, Seth Mahler on the mound for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, looking to hold the Bulls to just the 1-run lead to give his team a fighting chance for the late game comeback here on this Tuesday night postponed rained out game from June 20th. Lethbridge, Sylvan Lake. It's a battle. It's a heavyweight tilt, and we get to do it all over again tomorrow night as the Lethbridge Bulls will be back in town for another game. Lee Matsuzaki is the batter at the plate right now to lead things off here in this top half of the 9th. Game's been rolling along nicely, though, for a Tuesday night game. Both pitchers have been pitching well. It's been some well-earned runs for both teams. Low-scoring affair. Not as high as we've seen around the league. We've seen some football game scores going on around the league, including one that was against these two teams. The Sylvan Lake Gulls did end up beating the Bulls in Lethbridge one time, 16-0 already this summer. This is lifted right to left field, where John Boy Rittenhouse makes the grab for out number 1. Styling, John Boy Rittenhouse. Always styling, a stylish ball player with the Sunnies. I mentioned that to one of his teammates up here in the broadcast booth back on Sunday afternoon. I was fortunate enough to have Matthew McKenzie, the pitcher for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and then of course the starter in that first game of the doubleheader in game 2, Noah Bourgeois. And we talked about how John Boy's always styling with the good look. He had the pink slider on when he comes to the plate, and the sunnies on, and I mean, look good, feel good, play good, right? Josh Milton at the plate. Hit by pitches twice, and then he grounded out to Gavin Roy's last at bat. Ball hit well, right field, going all the way back for it, and it's going to be caught by Michael Quick. That ball went for a little ride before it didn't. Michael Quick getting there in time with the quick speed that he has. Two-way. This will bring up the home run hitter back in the 4th inning. Will Turner with a 2-run shot that is currently standing as the winning run. Winning RBI, I should say. That's grounded foul. 0-2 to Turner. Two outs. 0-2. Mahler looking to put this one to bed to give the Gulls a chance to come back in the bottom of the 9th. And that goes outside. And the throw a little bit low on him. Has to go back to Gavin Roy. They exchange a little smile. But now he's all business. Mahler, 1-2 delivery outside. And a lot of movement on that pitch. Even in the count, 2-2. And Sherman thought, just like Mahler thought, that was a strikeout. But let's watch it again here as we get a nice chance at looking at the replay. And yeah, that's just a little low. Good call by the umpire. Just below the knees. Full count now. And that is just fought off by Turner to stay alive. Full count, 2 down. And it's a walk to keep this inning alive for the Bulls for now. Will Turner with a good at bat, hangs in there and gets on base. So that'll bring up one of the brothers, Carson Haney, the DH. He's 0 for 3 on the night. Now, I had this thought in my head before the game started, and it was kind of one of those things where I believe, and this is just my own personal opinion, the Lethbridge Bulls probably have to be the most compatible, dynamic team in the league next to the Okotoks Dogs. Why? Because they got a lot of siblings on this team. They got to have a lot of like that instant chemistry just building coming into the season with the brotherly love that they have with just so many family members and brothers that are on the same team. Now, why I say next to the Okotoks Dogs is because the Okotoks Dogs have been a formed team for years now, that they have, like, basically their whole infield have played on that team for the last 4 or 5 years now together, and some of them play the same universities and colleges together down south in the winter as well. This is grounded right to Gavin Roy, and he'll make the long dart throw to Coleman Perry in time for out number 3. So just the one base runner on, but the Sylvan Lake Gulls allow no more damage to give themselves a fighting chance heading to the bottom of the ninth. Don't go anywhere. It's a one-run game. Well, it all comes down to this. Big moments call for big opportunities. John Boy Rittenhouse is a guy at the plate that loves these situations. He has been someone that has performed when it is needed the most. And this is a huge opportunity for him to lead things off here for the Sylvan Lake Gulls to get this inning started in a good way. And he hits it hard left field, but it is going to be caught. Wow, that ball died. Lee Matsuzaki turned to his back to the play, running to the fence, and then had to quickly turn around again because I thought this ball had a chance, but the wind is pushing from left field, and then Matsuzaki gets on it and finds it, making the catch. I thought that had a chance of getting out here, and on a normal calm day, I think that was out here. But there's just a breeze pushing from left field to right field, where a lot of the balls have been traveling the right field easier because there's a little bit more wind behind it. But an unfortunate first pitch swinging, John Boy wasting no time. I think, and everybody here in attendance, you could hear the crowd. They got excited too. Just the way that came off the bat, it looked promising. So Coleman Perry at the plate, Gavin Galenza on deck. Perry 0 for 3 on the night. 1-2. Lucas Wynn trying to close things out, save this ball game, save a win for the Bulls. And evens the count, 2-2. Been a close one here tonight. That's what you love to watch. Two top teams going at it. Lethbridge got out to a great start, third and fourth inning, putting up a couple runs, going up 4-0 as Coleman hits this on the ground. Jack Wheatley will ground it and throw it, and the tag is made on Coleman Perry. Easton Kurtura was thrown off the bag, and he had to make the tag as Jack Wheatley on the run threw it a little off, and then the tag out, and Perry running right into the arm of that tag kind of stung Couture a little bit, but the Gulls are down to their final out here. Bulls looking to hang on. It's been a good game. Couldn't ask for more. Gavin Galenza looking to keep this game going. And he takes the first pitch in for a called strike. He's got a double already today. 1 for 3. And he takes a good cut at that one. 0-2, down to his final strike. Gulls, final out, final strike. And he pops it up. Pop fly in frustration. Gavin Galenza will be put out for out number 3. So that is the ball game. The Lethbridge Bulls hang on for a 4-3 win over the Sylvan Lake Gulls after the Sylvan Lake Gulls tried everything in their power to pull off a comeback. Just fell short. But what a game it was. You got to give credit. Sylvan Lake Gulls, I mean, good pitching, obviously, too, by Graham Thiessen, the starter for the Bulls. He went 5 solid innings, not giving up really anything. Barely a sniff to the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Only 2 hits in those first 5 innings. And then the 6th inning comes, and then finally they found a way to crack Graham Thiessen, and they got a 3 runs scored in that inning, making things interesting. But then you got to give credit to the rest of the pitching staff and Bryce McGuire and Lucas Wynn, who came in. They shut the door when they needed to and didn't allow any more runs to come across the plate for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. But we're going to hand things down to field level to the guy that made it very interesting and could have definitely tied this ball game up had he had another one in him. But Elijah Hamill stands by with Jared Waldo.
Attention now behind home plate. It's time for our player of the game announcement. Here's your game day host, Jared Waldo.
Thank you very much, Joe Urici Auctions. Player of the game, Elijah Hamill. Elijah, unfortunately, didn't get the win tonight, but not a bad game from our perspective. Maybe talk about what you saw out there tonight.
Not at all. I mean, it's 2 competitive ball clubs. Both went out here with a plan. I mean, they just managed to execute at the end of the day. But, I mean, I think it was a pretty good game overall. We'll be right back tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think you said it there. It's a pretty good team. You 2 evenly matched teams on paper in the standings. Statistically, I think whenever you get 2 teams like this on the field, it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's fun going up against a team like that. You know, you're going to get your money's worth, your effort worth. And, I mean, you know, just show up back tomorrow. New day, so.
Well, let's do it again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, and let's do it again. Your player of the game for EG Auctions, Elijah Hamill.
Well, there you have it, Elijah Hamill.
All right, fans,
you said it best. You're going to have 2 good teams going at it. You know, your effort is going to basically be what's going to show in these games, and both teams brought their effort here tonight. One just executed slightly more than the other, and that's basically how these ball games can be when you get 2 top teams going head to head. You got some pitching duels, and you got some really good at bats at timely moments. But really, the biggest thing I think tonight that we can take away from is yeah, the pitching from both sides was solid. Lethbridge just might have outpitched Sylvan Lake by a small margin here tonight, and they get to do it all over again tomorrow night as the Lethbridge Bulls pull off a 4-3 victory over the Sylvan Lake Gulls, who tried to surge back into this one, just couldn't unfortunately do it, falling up short. But some good things to see. At least the weather was one of them. It was a beautiful night for baseball, and Mason Little got the start. He had a lot of Ks on the night. I mean, he had 7 Ks in his name and got some good catches in the outfield. Good to see Carlin Dick back, but in different terms. He's a coach now, not a player, but his brother Cardell still plays. And then we got a chance to see a couple ones fly over the fence, and it was the Lethbridge Bulls that got things started, going up 4-0, and then some great plays like Caleb Haney, keeping the Gulls hitters in check. But then Gavin Roy finally got things going, making things interesting. Elijah Hamill sent one over the fence. That made things even more so interesting. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, the Sylvan Lake Gulls just couldn't quite complete the comeback. So they'll do it all over again tomorrow night here at Gulls Field. For everybody at Green Onion Media, I'm Cale Clark with another Bird's Eye View. We'll see you back tomorrow night.